Hello nerds, today is Wednesday, March 20th. That means it is time for the 79th game in the Meditation Games. Today's game was made by Pedro Paiva? Paiva? I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm afraid. And he's left an incredibly short blurb for us, which I'll read out very quickly for you. Danny Sullivan's Indie Heat is the title of the game. That was a NES game, I think. Danny Sullivan's, let's have a look. Yeah, here we go. It was a 1991 arcade racing game, and it came out on arcade games, Switch, Commodore, Amiga, Atari ST, and Commodore 64. There you go, cool. Alright, is it this game? Let's have a look. What the hell's going on? Okay, I've got my mouse cursor, so... Arrow. Oh, okay, right, I'm down there. I am first. That's nice. What the hell is going on? Can I get to the trophy? Have I got to try and push through all the cars? I don't know what's going on. Okay, I'm turning that down. That's going to annoy me very quickly. Okay, let's just... Okay. Fucking hell. Right. Can't seem to drive off the map, so that's probably a good thing. Is there any... Oh, I was slowly getting there. Is there any chance I can actually get to the centre? I don't think there is. Oh, we'll try for a bit. I'm just holding forward here in the hopes that something happens. I can't seem to get any further than that. Ah! I'll try to just turn a little and he just went boink! Switch right over. That's not... No! No! No, stop it! What are you doing? Get in there! Oh my god! How close was I then? Come on. You're kidding. Okay, so there doesn't seem to be an end point. That's disappointing. Oh, fair enough. I guess I'm done. So I've played it a couple more times, and I think I got really lucky. I was actually able to get into the centre. Every other time I've tried, that's just not possible. There's just too many cars around it. Every time I try and push in, well, you saw, I'll get so close, but there'll be no gaps, no openings. I'm just pinged back out. Well, I'm not even pinged back out. I'm eventually just kind of shoved back out. I honestly don't know what the reference to Danny Sullivan's Indie Heat is. I don't know if it's just he liked the car. I like the name. I assume he was aware of it. But the general idea of the game, of it, to me anyway, made me think of indie games in general. I'm not sure why you're highlighted as first, though, but I get the impression it's about how, to be fair, just gaming in general, but how difficult it is to stand out, because all the cars are identical. You look the same as everyone else, and I think that's a bit of a gross misrepresentation of the indie games, if I'm right in that. But it's hard to stand out. It's hard to come up with a new idea and then go and do it and find that no one else has done it. Everyone else will jump on it. Everyone else will make stuff. Everyone else will, I don't want to say copy your idea, but it's rare that it stays your idea for long. One of the most notable examples that I've seen unfold before my eyes was for Donut County. The guy who made the game happened to be on an indie dev page that I follow on Facebook, and he was commenting about how worried he was that he put all this work into a game and did like a reveal. I assume he did like a reveal somewhere, or did a preview, and people saw the game, people got excited about the game, but some guy just botched together a quick drag-a-hole, sink-a-building game in absolutely no time and threw it up on the store before this guy got Donut County out, and this guy was really worried that it would detract from his sales, it would detract from the attention of his game that he's put a lot more work into, and I totally understand that. That's the impression that I get from this anyway, that it's about how congested and how seemingly homogenous a lot of the indie market can seem. As someone who isn't an indie developer, as someone who's not a developer, as someone who buys and plays indie games, I feel I can see where he's coming from with this. I play indie games primarily. I enjoy them the most because indie games are the ones that can dare to be interesting. There's definitely this idea that there's a lot of copycats and a lot of clones out there, a lot of people who just take a successful idea and just quickly knock out a botch job But it also feels incredibly unfair and dismissive just to class everyone as a botch job. Some people can take a concept, twist it, morph it, and create something interesting in that same vein. I think roguelikes are a fantastic example. There's a lot of fucking roguelikes out there. But people are always making really good, interesting takes on the roguelike genre, and it's fun to see what people can come out with. But they can all disappear in that big, bland malaise of, it's a roguelike, or roguelite. But on the flip side, I also know how hard it is for me to discover a new indie game. Just looking at the Steam storefront, everything does kind of look the same. Nothing really stands out, nothing grabs my interest. Ever since I've been covering meditation games, a lot of the people who contribute to meditations are indie developers themselves, and I've looked at the games that they've made, and I've come across a lot of good games as a result from that, and I've been buying a lot of indie games as a result of that, and it's been fantastic for me. I've absolutely enjoyed this. It's been a great avenue to discover new games. One game in particular, Nuclear Throne, which is made by Rami himself, who's the creator of Meditations. I've seen Nuclear Throne before. I didn't think anything of it just from a glance at it. It was just like, oh, it's a roguelike and you shoot shit. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, great, whatever. But I've seen the game in action now. I've actually given it a look because the creator's responsible for it. And I'm like, oh shit, I've totally blanked that. I really should have paid more attention. So it can be really hard to make your indie game stand out. And to me, that's kind of what the game feels like it's hinting on. But it is possible to make your game stand out. It is possible to land that. It is possible to hit the big time. And the fact that hitting that trophy didn't complete the game, I think says a lot about the creator's attitude towards it and how he feels about it. And I feel it's totally justified. If you haven't had that hit, it can feel fucking impossible. How do you do it? How would you get there? But, I get that. And the answer is, I have no fucking clue. I really don't know. I really don't know how you can pull it off. I know, personally, the games that I have ended up going with, I've heard because a friend has played it, and I don't know how they heard about it. Other games, just because the thumbnail just happened to look really good, like on the Steam storefront or whatever, and I gave it a look and it looked interesting, so I bought it. The price was right. But definitely the biggest surge in my interest in indie games has come from the Nintendo Switch storefront, although that's changing. Just because it wasn't so over-congested, I could actually take the time to have a look at each of those games and go, this looks good, I will play it, or this looks crap, I'm not going to bother. But that's also becoming an increasingly congested storefront, and it's much harder for me to have the time to go through all of the games that are out on there and just go, yep, this one, or yep, that one. So, yeah, it's obviously something that needs a lot of help, a lot of work, but one thing that I do adore about indie games, and the indie scene in general, is it's generally very supportive of one another, and I do adore that. But also, indie games generally don't have that incredibly frustrating AAA mindset that games have these days, the big budget games. You look at games like Overwatch, you look at games like Apex and Fortnite and whatever the hell else, and they seem to be steered towards this idea of keeping you there, keeping you hooked, keeping you engaged. You play our game. With indie games, you beat them and you're done, and then you look for the next one. And I think that's fantastic. I think that is the only way you can really have a long-term healthy scene, because we're going to hit the point, and numerous critics have pointed this out already, but it bears repeating. There's only so many of these incredibly, like Destiny as well, that's a good example, Destiny and whatever. There's only so many of these lifestyle games that we can really play before we can't really hook on to another one. It happened in the MMO market. World of Warcraft was the best one. Everyone played World of Warcraft. Best is obviously very subjective, but everyone played World of Warcraft pretty much. It was really hard for someone to come in and go, play me instead. It's like, well, I'm kind of playing Warcraft. I don't have time for both of you. And I was guilty of it. I adored the first Guild Wars game. I couldn't fit it in with World of Warcraft. I made a choice, and I chose World of Warcraft because all my friends were playing it. But I have never had that problem in the past. There's a game that's come out, I've played it, I've enjoyed it, and then I get the next one. And I like that kind of cycle with the indie games. This has been one hell of a tangent. Anyway, I'll leave that there. That could be a topic for another time. Maybe I'll do a video on it. Probably not. But either way... This is all assuming that I've actually understood what the guy making today's meditation is actually getting at. He may not be getting at that at all. Who knows? Well, he knows, obviously. So I guess with all that said, it wouldn't be proper to actually talk about the guy who made today's meditation. So the creator of today's game is Pedro... Paiva? I didn't know how to pronounce his name. I'm just going to call you Pedro, I'm afraid. He's got an itch.io. It's the only games I can find that he's credited himself to. I don't know if he's worked on anything else, but if he has, I don't know where. I haven't seen it. His games are very much informed by his politics, I see. There's a lot of statements in there, and I'm cool with that. I'm down with that. Fair play to you, lad. Obviously, very anti-Nazi, which is the good default to be. And anti-fascist, and perhaps socialist? I'm getting a bit of a vibe from that, which, as a fellow socialist, cool. They all seem to be pretty small games, and as far as I can tell, they're also all free to play. You can make a donation. I'm not 100% certain on that, though. I haven't clicked through all of them. Oh, no, there's a few here. $1.99, so that's like... what's that, quid? In UK currency? That's not a lot, to be fair. And if you find you like his content, you can hop over to his Patreon and donate to him and help support him. So a huge thank you to Pedro for making today's game, and thank you for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.